Hey there, fellow Underdogs, and welcome back to another episode of Poketactics with me, Jordan95. Last week I told you to guess what Pokemon we would be covering this week, and if you guessed Flygon, then you're in for a treat. Before we start to look over Flygon, I would really appreciate if you could tell me what you think of this new layout once you finish watching the video in the comment section down below, and also put your suggestions for what Pokemon I should do next. So, Flygon is the Mystic Pokemon, and its design is based off of a dragonfly, which is where the name originates. This Pokemon was first introduced in Gen 3, and has never been found in the wild in the main game series. To get Flygon, you'll have to evolve Vibrava at level 45, which evolves from Trapinch at level 35. Flygon's only egg group is Bug, and has a unique EV yield of 1 attack and 2 speed. Flygon's base stat spread is 100 in attack and speed, and 80 in every other stat, meaning that Flygon can be used almost any way you want. Although, having only 80 in most of its stats, it isn't really a good choice for a bulky support Pokemon. Going on to Flygon's move pool, I'll first go through the best moves at Flygon's arsenal, and then add in other possibilities if they seem fit when going over possible movesets. So, to start off, there are 3 possible egg moves which you may want, although I wouldn't use these on a Flygon set personally. The first is Quick Attack. This move can be useful if you fear the opponent is focus sashed and you need a priority move the next turn to take them out. The second is Signal Beam. Although Flygon is less of a special attacker, it could put this move to good use and also give Flygon a move that may confuse the enemy. The final is Focus Energy. Crits are always nice to get, and being able to up the chance to get one is even nicer. Next off, Move Tutor moves. I will only look at moves from Gen 5 and Gen 6 when it comes to tutor moves, just to make sure that you have legal movesets if you want to transfer Flygon from Black and White 2 to X and Y. The first move you could use is Superpower. Giving Flygon a move that is super powerful. See what I did there? No? Okay, I'll be quiet now. Will help combat Flygon's weakness to Ice. Another viable move is Outrage, which deals massive damage, but you will be locked into using it. The next move is Thunder Punch. This move will give Flygon a nice, powerful move, able to tackle Water type, which could potentially carry Ice type moves. The final move that comes from Black and White and before is Fire Punch. This move is just here for type coverage, but is another move that is good against Ice types. In X and Y, there is only one move Flygon can be tutored, and that is Draco Meteor. This could be a useful move if you're trying to be running a mixed Flygon set, and it can be used against dragon types which are physically bulky. By leveling up, Flygon learns a few decent moves. The first is learned at level 45, being Dragon Tail. This move allows you to inflict damage on the opponent and force them to swap out for another Pokemon. This could be used well if you have laid down entry hazards, or just to deal damage without taking damage yourself, providing that you are faster. The only other move is Dragon Claw. This move is more powerful than Dragon Tail, but it has no additional effects. Flygon learns some of its best moves via TM. The most effective is Earthquake. This move has 100 base power and is affected by Stab, giving it what is effectively 150 base power. The next move I would suggest is U-Turn. This move will let you inflict damage and then swap out into a Pokemon which you feel would be able to take whatever attack is coming your way better than Flygon could. To mix it up a bit, you could add Flamethrower to your Flygon's moveset, to give it a more powerful Fire-type move that will only miss if your accuracy has been lowered, and will give you something to attack physically bulky Pokemon. Sometimes healing mid-battle is important, so you may want to give Flygon Roost so that it can do just that. And finally, the last move you may want to give Flygon is Power Up Punch. This move will deal damage and raise Flygon's attack stat, meaning that you'll be able to deal even more damage with physical attacks than before. Now, on Flygon's weaknesses and resistances, Flygon is weak to 3 types: Ice, Dragon, and Fairy, while being 4 times weak to Ice. However, it does resist Poison, Rock, and Fire, and is immune to Electric and Ground type attacks. Moving on to potential Flygon builds. Today I'll be looking at 3 builds, but with other Pokemon I may do more, or I may do less, depending on how many potential useful sets there are. The first set I'll be showing you is a mixed attacking set. With this set, you may want to either use a defense stat lowering nature, such as Lonely or Rash, or just go for a nature that doesn't involve stat changes, such as Serious or Hardy. The item you want to give Flygon is a Life Orb, to ensure to get a boost to all of its attacks. As for the moves, you will want Earthquake to get a nice amount of damage off to non-flying or levitate using Pokemon. Dragonclaw or Outrage. Personally, I use Dragonclaw because I don't like being locked into Outrage, and if they have a Fairy type on their team, they can swap out into it and take no damage from the Outrage. U-turn to get some damage off when switching out. Although you won't be doing much to the Pokemon you're switching out from, you will still be able to break Focus Sash or Sturdy and be able to swap out into a Pokemon that can take the next turn. Flamethrower or Fire Blast would be the last move. Having a special Fire type move is something that shouldn't be overlooked, as it works wonders on Pokemon such as Ferrothorn. The second and third sets are basically the same, with the same moves, apart from one change, which is the items. If you want to have a speedy Flygon, you can give it a Choice Scarf, giving you the power to outspeed most Pokemon that aren't also Scarfed. Or if you want a more powerful Flygon, you can give it a Choice Band and watch it decimate most Pokemon. Although Flamethrower or Fire Blast will not get a boost from this. To wrap up this episode, I will go through a few potential teammates. To start with, you may want a Pokemon such as Galvantula or Ariados that can set up a Sticky Web to slow the opponent down, especially if you aren't running a Choice Scarf. The next thing you may want to consider is Muck or Metagross, as these Pokemon can take Fairy, Dragon and Ice type moves much better than Flygon. And as a final potential team member, I would suggest Chansey or Blissey, or any other bulky support Pokemon really, as you may need to heal status ailments with a Heal Bell, or just take hits that Flygon cannot. Obviously this is only 3 Pokemon, you can choose any other for the other 2 spots, but they're the main 3 that I would suggest. And that wraps it up for today, guys. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do leave a like, and don't forget to leave a comment on what Pokemon I should cover next. So until next week, guys, I'm Jordan, and I'm out.